Hey everyone, this is Corey with Rustic Outdoors. Down here at the property by myself. Thought I'd give you a tour of the property, show you the cabin and the bathhouse, and just walk around and see what it looks like. Let's go. So here's the bunkhouse, and over here is the bathhouse. Also, for many of you from the Rustic Trail Overland days, there's the old Tepui that came off the 4Runner. It's down here for backup where we have guests stay. So the cabin's small. It's only 8 by 12, bunkhouse cabin, whatever you want to call it. And the plan was to expand over time as time and money allows. So it's real simple. Go to all from scratch. Got a couple bunk beds, sleep all 4 of us. Of course, you got a TV for those cold, rainy nights, and an air conditioning for those hot summer nights. Got a couple windows up top. Still need to finish up the top section. Not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but that's on the agenda to get done this year. Got a screen door to allow for some breeze, so if it's not quite hot enough to run the AC. There's also a propane buddy heater in there. I think the coldest we stayed in there while we were still putting in insulation, it got down to 13 degrees. Back behind we have a IBC tote to collect rainwater. I don't have rainwater going into it yet because I ain't got no roof on it yet. That's the other thing that still needs done. Probably first thing next year, right when spring is starting to break. Got to get that put on. Ain't gonna make it this year. But right now we've been bringing water down with this. I have a 45-gallon tank that I bring down and fill that up. The goal is to pump that into the bathhouse, which plumbing still needs done. It's always something. Of course, you got Bigfoot. He's gonna be sitting next to you while you're doing your business. He's doing his. Here's the sink. You get some of this crap and crud out of the way. So I built that vanity, something from the corner, gives a little bit more space. I really like the rock sink. I want to try and do one myself. I just didn't have the time or the patience. So none of this is hooked up yet. It all still needs plumbing. Got a small little window. Of course, wasp spray because they have been getting in here. So it's going to have a full shower. So here's the shower. Of course, I'm using it for storage right now. It's going to have metal siding or metal roofing as the interior walls inside here. That's on the agenda. It's all 12-volt power. The plan is to have its own solar to feed that and the bunkhouse. It'll run all the pumps. I got a on-demand hot water tank that I'm going to be mounting on this piece of steel I have hanging, and then also all the Solar panel is going, all the battery and everything's going to be in its own enclosure mounted on this as well. We got a nice little spider web. We got some big spiders down here. I believe I looked them up and Google called them wood spiders. I'll throw a picture in of one. They're pretty good size. They don't bother you. I don't bother them. Just kind of shoo them back into the woods. But this spot we completely cleared out. It was all trees all the way out to about where that fire pit and that tree is out there. That was all trees and shrubs and brush. So we cleared all this out, planted grass. Got a couple mowers down here. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I really need to get a tractor. Just haven't been able to get a tractor yet. It just hasn't been in the budget. Of course, side-by-side was in the budget. But fun before work, I guess. Not the way it should be, but that's the way it panned out. Got a little wood shed put together just to keep things dry. There ain't no wood, really wood in it right now. It's been a strange year. We haven't got to spend as much time here at the property that I wanted to. It's been super hot and super dry. Early on it was super wet. Now it's super dry. And it's just been so miserably hot. And of course life gets in the way, you know, with normal work and kids and their activities and graduations and all that fun stuff. But it's beautiful down here. It's about 50 acres in total. Only a few trespassers we've had problems with. That's my biggest pet peeve if you've seen my short. That guy ended up stealing a trail camera and an SD card out of another trail camera. That's the first time we've actually had anything missing. Other times they're just passing through or walking through, which still ain't right, but it's not as bad as someone stealing your stuff. We had a couple paths. This path, this connector right here was never cut in. This is one of the paths that we cut in a few years ago. The original home site, cabin site, was back this way that we wanted to build on, and it was overlooking a ravine. The plan is still to use that site to build another cabin later on, something bigger, something with a little bit more room. But it all comes down to that money, if you have it, and if you don't. And right now we don't. So hopefully YouTube could help, and we can get back into it and be able to put some more money into this. Here's the cabin site. We had a cherry tree that fell just a couple months ago, about 2 months ago. That was planned to come out anyways. So this is where we started to clear out the land for a cabin. We thought it'd be nice to be able to overlook this when all the leaves are down, and in the wintertime you have a nice view over there of the down in the ravine and the other hillside. Got a couple cherries that still need to come out. May just let Mother Nature take care of them. Got some wood piles we got to pick up and move over to the wood shed. The big thing here is just keeping these trails cleared. We've got about 3 miles of trails that were left from logging when they logged this property out years ago, before we purchased it. And keeping those cleared out with the equipment I have is just a never-ending task. If you get behind like we did this year, it just overgrows so quickly that it's so hard to get back and be able to cut it back in a timely manner. You spend all day on like one trail with the equipment I have. Obviously, there's better equipment out there that would definitely make this process a lot faster, but I don't have that equipment. I got a couple riding lawn mowers that I run through the gauntlet. I have a Cub Cadet, which was my favorite. but I blew the engine on it the last time we were down here. So looking at whether I'm gonna replace the engine. See, this is just, I just walked through here about 2 months ago. Now you can't even walk through here. I would love to be able to get a skid steer with a forestry attachment. The problem with these trails is that a lot of them just dead end. When they got to the trees that the loggers wanted, they just stopped and turned around. So none of them loop around. So when you're riding the side-by-side or you're riding the ATV around here, it's just hard to, you know, ride the trails and have fun because you always got to turn around and they're always in tight spots. So not only would it be nice to have a skid steer forestry attachment to keep this stuff all cleared out, but it would also be nice to be able to cut in new trails. I just can't afford one right now. Can't even afford to rent one right now. So we're stuck doing it by hand. I got chainsaws and weed eaters and hedge trimmers and clippers, and that's what I do, but it just takes so much time, and it's been so hot this year. Just haven't been able to get to it. Alright, so we're back here in the side-by-side. We're going to go drive some of the trails that we can get down. We're probably going to have to turn around on almost all of them. The last time we were down here, some of them were pretty overgrown. We might try and force our way through some areas to get a better view, but I just want to show you what the property looks like. Looks like fall right now, but it don't feel like fall. It's a warm one. There's a trail that we've never cut out, and we've walked it, especially in the winter time, and it goes down to a creek that has a nice little pool in the creek. It's a seasonal creek, it's not a year-round creek. We don't have water in it all the time, but it'd be nice in the summertime to be able to go down there and take a dip. That's one of the trails that I really want to get cleaned out, to make a nice path down to the creek. It's pretty back in there. We are not going to be able to make it there today in this. At one time, we had this cut out where it was like a 2-lane track going back here. I don't even know if I can get through here now. Not gonna try it. As you can see, there's definitely some trees that need to be cut out. We need to mow and cut the brush out of the side. Thorns and blackberry bushes, they're prevalent down here. The whole trails are covered with them, and it's just, you get so cut up. But this is, once you go back here, the trail kind of widens, or not widens, wise. To the left takes you back down to the creek trail, and to the right we've never cut out, but it kind of goes into the interior, into the border of the property. Back there's another trail that I found while mushroom hunting, and it was nice and wide. It definitely needed to cut out, but there was no trees, it was just grass, and that's one area that we would like to put a tree stand here in the coming years. Well, I'm going to turn around and see what else we can come up with. trail. I like to refer to this trail as the border trail. It's right at the property line between us and our neighbors, and then it goes back to Wayne National Forest. One thing I forgot to mention is that we back up to Wayne National Forest in an area. I haven't been on this trail in a while, so I'm not sure how far we're going to get, but we're going to test it and see how far we can go. One of the early shorts that I put out had us riding on this trail just a little bit. See if we can get up over this tree. One thing neat about this property is that it's pretty diverse. We have deer. We've gotten one deer off this property so far. It was a small little 10-point buck. We've also got a bunch of wild turkey on here. Get them on camera all the time. Haven't seen them in a while, but we've gotten multiple pictures of bobcats. There's a lot of bobcats. They've probably moved on, hopefully to see them soon again. Of course, there's some coyotes, and we've had one black bear. Ohio's not known for the black bears. And they do roam around here. Definitely use some trail clearing through here. This trail kind of rides the ridge all the way to Wayne National Forest. Like we hit the end of the road. There's some trees that I don't want to try and get across, and I don't have a chainsaw with me, but if you continue on, this does end at Wayne National Forest. There's one of the large trees there from old growth from the time that Wayne National was logged out back in, I don't know, 1800s or so. You'd have to do your own research on that, or I can try and find it and put it in if you're interested. Put a comment down below and I'll try and dig up that information. But we have 2,500 feet that back up to Wayne National Forest here in the back. It's awesome, but also you get some trespassers that come in from Wayne National. They don't realize they cross boundaries. That happens. I'm not as worried about those as long as they don't take any of my stuff, but you start taking my stuff and we start having problems. So, try to keep everything locked down as tight as I can, but you know how it goes. Alright, well, I'm going to try and get turned around here somewhere. I'm up on a ridge. You can see there's pretty steep drop off that way. You may not be able to see it, but it does drop off pretty good right there. And the same as over here. So I'm going to get turned around and we'll head back. Alright everybody, well I hope you enjoyed the tour of the property. There's hopefully more to come and soon. And if you like what you see, please hit subscribe and we will see you on the trail.